August 3rd, 1961, 11:43 p.m. Vincent, the butcher Romano, checked his .38 Special one last time before stepping out of the black Cadillac on 125th Street. Behind him, 5 other professional killers emerged from 2 more cars, each man carrying enough firepower to level a city block. They were the best assassins money could buy. Combined, they had 127 confirmed kills between them. Tonight, they were hunting the most dangerous man in Harlem for a $100,000 contract. More money than most people saw in a lifetime. The target, Bumpy Johnson. The client, a consortium of crime families who decided that Bumpy's independence had become too expensive to tolerate. By 11:58 p.m., all 6 assassins would be dead. Their bodies would be found in locations scattered across Manhattan, each one killed in a different method, each death sending a clear message to anyone else who thought $100,000 was worth trying to collect Bumpy Johnson's life. What the crime families who'd posted the contract didn't understand was that putting a price on Bumpy Johnson's head wasn't a business transaction. It was a declaration of war against the most strategically brilliant mind in organized crime. And Bumpy Johnson had been preparing for this war long before they decided to start it. To understand how 6 professional assassins ended up dead within 15 minutes, you need to understand what led to the $100,000 contract being placed on Bumpy Johnson's head in August 1961. For 18 months, Bumpy had been systematically disrupting organized crime operations throughout New York, not through violence or territory wars, but through intelligence, strategy, and an understanding of the criminal underworld that surpassed even the most experienced crime bosses. He'd prevented 3 major drug shipments from reaching their destinations. He'd provided information that led to federal raids on 2 family operations. He'd mediated disputes that had cost the families millions in potential revenue. Most importantly, he demonstrated that independent operators could be more successful, more profitable, and more protected than family-affiliated criminals. July 15, 1961, the 5 families held an emergency commission meeting to address what they called the Bumpy Johnson problem. Carlo Gambino spoke for the commission. Johnson's independence is encouraging other operators to break away from family protection. If we don't handle this decisively, we'll have rebellion throughout our territories. Thomas Lucchese agreed. The niggers got too much influence. Other coloreds are starting to think they can operate without our permission. Joseph Colombo was more direct. We tried negotiation. We tried intimidation. Time for elimination. Vincent Gigante, representing the Genovese family, made the formal proposal. I move that we place a contract on Bumpy Johnson. $100,000 to whoever brings proof of death. The vote was unanimous. 5-0 in favor of the contract. July 20th. Word of the contract reached every professional killer on the East Coast. $100,000 was an enormous sum in 1961. Enough to retire comfortably, enough to disappear forever, enough to take any risk. What the crime families didn't know was that Bumpy Johnson heard about the contract within 6 hours of it being placed. Detective Raymond Murphy contacted Bumpy that same evening with information that would prove crucial. Bumpy, we got a major problem. There's paper out on you. Big paper. They met at Marcus Garvey Park at midnight, away from listening ears and watching eyes. How much paper? 100 grand. Every hitter from Boston to Miami is going to be coming for you. Bumpy was quiet for a long moment, processing the implications. Ray, I need you to get me everything you can on professional killers who might take this contract. Names, methods, criminal records, everything.
What are you planning?
I'm planning to make this the most expensive mistake the families have ever made. Over the next 2 weeks, Bumpy acquired detailed intelligence on every professional assassin who might attempt to collect the contract. Their methods, their weaknesses, their habits, their psychological profiles. More importantly, he identified the 6 most likely candidates to actually attempt the hit. Vincent, the butcher Romano, Anthony, Ice Pick DiMarco, Paul, the Strangler Benedetto, Frank Boom Boom Torrino, Michael, the Ghost Aiello, and Joseph Silent Joe Scalise. Each man was a specialist. Each man had a different approach to murder. Each man would require a different strategy to eliminate. August 1st. Bumpy received intelligence that the 6 assassins had coordinated their approach. Instead of competing against each other, they'd formed a temporary partnership to split the $100,000 contract. They would hit Bumpy simultaneously from multiple directions, ensuring that even if he escaped some of them, he couldn't escape all of them. The attack was scheduled for August 3rd at 11:45 p.m. when Bumpy would be leaving Small's Paradise Jazz Club after his weekly business meeting with legitimate community leaders. What the 6 assassins didn't know was that Bumpy had been expecting them. August 3rd, 9 p.m. Instead of conducting his usual meeting at Small's Paradise, Bumpy arranged for 6 separate business meetings throughout Manhattan. Each meeting was designed to attract one specific assassin to a specific location where Bumpy could eliminate them individually. Vincent the Butcher, Romano, was lured to the Chrysler Building with information about a high-value target meeting on the 42nd floor. When he arrived, he found the elevator cables had been cut. His body was found in the basement, crushed by a 42-story fall. Anthony Icepick DiMarco was directed to Rao's restaurant with intelligence about Bumpy conducting a meeting in the back room. When he entered the restaurant, he discovered the kitchen's gas lines had been sabotaged. The explosion killed him instantly and destroyed half the building. Paul the Strangler Benedetto was told Bumpy would be at Yankee Stadium for a private meeting with sports figures. When he arrived at the empty stadium, he found himself locked inside with the field's sprinkler system activated. But instead of water, the system had been filled with industrial acid. Benedetto dissolved alive. Frank Boom Boom Torrino was sent to the Brooklyn Bridge with information that Bumpy was meeting with Irish criminals on the pedestrian walkway. When Torrino positioned himself to take the shot, he discovered the bridge cables had been rigged with explosives. The detonation sent him into the East River 200 feet below. Michael, the ghost Aiello, was guided to Grand Central Station with intelligence that Bumpy would be catching a midnight train. Aiello was known for his ability to disappear in crowds, but he couldn't disappear from the third rail of the subway system when Bumpy's associates pushed him onto the electrified tracks. Joseph Silent Joe Scalise was the most dangerous of the 6 assassins. He specialized in long-range kills and had never missed a target. Bumpy saved him for last, directing him to the roof of the Empire State Building with information about a perfect sniper position to eliminate his target. When Scalise reached the roof, he found Bumpy Johnson waiting for him. "Mr. Scalise, I believe you're looking for me." The conversation that followed lasted exactly 3 minutes. Scalise had his rifle aimed at Bumpy from 30 feet away. He had a clear shot, perfect conditions, and $100,000 motivation to pull the trigger. But Bumpy Johnson had something Scalise didn't expect: leverage. "Before you take that shot, Mr. Scalise, you should know that your daughter Maria is currently in federal custody. The FBI has evidence linking you to 17 murders. The only thing preventing her arrest as an accessory is my relationship with certain federal agents." Scalise's grip on his rifle tightened. "You're lying." Bumpy pulled out a photograph. Maria Scalise in handcuffs, being led into a federal building. "Your choice, Mr. Scalise. Pull that trigger and watch your daughter spend the rest of her life in federal prison, or walk away and she's released in the morning." Joseph Silent Joe Scalise, who had never missed a target, who had killed 17 men without remorse, who had come to collect $100,000 for Bumpy Johnson's life, made his choice. He threw his rifle off the edge of the building and walked toward the roof access door. That's when Bumpy shot him in the back of the head with a .22 caliber pistol. "I said your daughter would be released," Bumpy said quietly. "I never said you would be." 11:58 p.m. Exactly 15 minutes after the coordinated assassination attempt was supposed to begin. All 6 professional killers were dead. Their bodies were found throughout Manhattan over the next 3 days, each death more elaborate than the last. The crime families who had posted the $100,000 contract received a different message than they'd expected. Instead of proof of Bumpy Johnson's death, they received personal items from each of the 6 assassins: Romano's watch, DiMarco's gold teeth, Benedetto's ring, Torrino's wallet, Aiello's lucky coin, and Scalise's rifle scope. Attached to each item was a simple note: "Contract declined, counteroffer." Anyone else who wants to try collecting can join them. The message was clear. The $100,000 contract hadn't just failed. It had become a $100,000 demonstration of why placing contracts on Bumpy Johnson was a fatal mistake. August 10th, 1 week after the failed assassination attempt, the commission held another emergency meeting. Carlo Gambino spoke for the families. The contract is withdrawn. No further action against Johnson. Thomas Lucchese asked the obvious question. What about our reputation? 6 professional killers, all dead. Everyone knows we tried to eliminate Johnson and failed. Vincent Gigante answered. Our reputation is exactly what Johnson intended it to be. We tried to kill him and lost 6 of the best killers on the East Coast. The message isn't that we're weak. The message is that he's too dangerous to cross. The $100,000 contract on Bumpy Johnson became legend in criminal circles, not because of the money offered, but because of the price paid by those who tried to collect it. For the next 7 years, until Bumpy's natural death in 1968, no one placed another contract on his life. The 6 dead assassins served as a permanent reminder that some targets weren't worth any amount of money. Years later, when crime historians studied the case, they noted that the failed contract was the most decisive demonstration of strategic superiority in organized crime history. Bumpy Johnson hadn't just survived an assassination attempt. He'd turned it into an execution of his would-be executioners. The 6 assassins, who came for $100,000, ended up paying the ultimate price for the crime family's miscalculation. They discovered too late that hunting Bumpy Johnson wasn't a business opportunity. It was a suicide mission, disguised as easy money. The psychological impact of the failed contract extended far beyond the criminal underworld. Federal investigators studying organized crime patterns noted that assassination attempts against independent operators dropped by 78% in the months following the incident. Word had spread. Contracts on certain targets weren't just dangerous. They were career-ending. The 6 dead assassins became cautionary tales in criminal circles. Their names whispered as examples of what happened when professional killers overestimated their abilities and underestimated their targets. Look, if this assassination survival masterpiece got your adrenaline pumping, smash that like button.